Hello and welcome to the Faith Building Podcast, episode 63, with your lovely and amazing hosts, Vladi Kuna. Hello and welcome. In last episode, we spoke about the idea of focusing on one thing, and the thing would be, what would you love? Like I already said in last episode, in my first book, I'm Greater, I come to a conclusion, and the conclusion basically is do more of what really makes you happy. And I thought this conclusion is so easy because if everybody has it and gets it and says, then I go and do whatever makes me happy, the world would be a better place. And Vladi and I now realize that more and more people that we meet really have an issue with that. And to kick it off, I want to read you something that I read last night before going to bed as my evening routine developed. And this fits perfectly in today's topic. Get ready for a magnificent brand new life experience. Let's begin. You are reading this. Why are you reading this? And I want to make a quick stop. I read the question, why are you reading this? And I had a discussion in my own mind. One part said, continue reading. It might get interesting. And the other one said, answer the question. So for a quick second, I answered the question, why am I reading this? And now something interestingly happened, the text that continued. Again, you are reading this, why are you reading this? You did not answer the question. You did not even ponder the question. You are not concentrating, you are not focused, you are not in the present moment, you are rushing. You think the secret will be revealed later in this session or in a future lesson or some other book or some other seminar or some other course. You want to read this as fast as you can and finish. You cannot yet comprehend that the secret could be in this very sentence, at this very moment right now. You assume it must come later or someplace else. You have never been ready to accept or receive truth. You have thought that you must have to work harder and longer to earn more worthiness, and only after a long struggle will you be deserving of having all revealed to you, and you think you are not there quite yet. This is because of the image makers and how they programmed you. We spoke about that a little bit in last episode, if you did not listen to that. The first lesson you must learn now is to be in the present now. Be ready, be receptive, be in a state of openness and allowing right now. Know that you do not know what you do not know. Be teachable. You must know you already have arrived and are in fact worthy and deserving right now. You read the earlier question yet did not answer it. You must read the question and you keep on reading. You did not even think about the question. So we will start again. This time actually think about the question, ponder the question, focus, concentrate, search your mind and the universal field, look with your mind and self throughout the collective consciousness. Emote, feel, and then actually answer the question. Be in the present moment, be open, be here right now. And I think it fits quite well. Like, who am I? What am I doing? What do I like? And with that, Vladi, what do you think about all of that?
I love that book. I'll start with this discussion because when I want you to go and listen to what Norman was reading again, obviously when we finished, but not now. Wait till the end of the episode. It's so true. It's like we're programmed. And I was saying the same thing to Norman. I was writing something and sometimes you stop and you're like, okay, I'll do it later. We don't pause. And this is our new growth decision that we're actually studying this book that Norman read from. And we're going to read it and read it and read it and study it and really contemplate on it and listen to the recordings until we really get it. Because we've been in study for a long time and we still can see that there are things that are not as smoothly, or let me say it this way. You run and pay the mentor, you run and find another mentor and you're spending lots of money, lots of time, lots of energy. It has to happen for a reason. Otherwise, it prepares you for the moment when you read something and study something like this, you actually understand it on a different level. It's the same as Norman was telling me, and he'll tell you about the story with the book when he was writing a book. And if we write it now, we would write it differently. That's not the point. Otherwise, we'll never publish one. Well, then create a next one or a next one. Because if we keep going backwards and digging into what we created and trying to improve, looking at the videos. I mean, videos I recorded 8 years ago when I've started, some of the mindset tips, I'm like, should I pull this out of the YouTube? No, go back, look at it, look at the time I was speaking. That's who I was then. I can't change it, but I grew so much. And we don't appreciate ourselves enough to know you're a creator of everything. You create your own environment with the attitude you have. And this is when, if you go back to the last episode, we talked about AI. That's the part it's hugely missing. It can never have any attitude. It just collects data and processes it. You have attitude. And if you can create an amazing attitude, you create and you carry it with you. You know, like in the summer, you have a shadow and you can't just say, just stay here and I'll go for a swim and come back. The shadow is never leaving you. Never. It's just the part of the laws. So the dark part of us and the higher self part of us cannot separate. You can't be good or bad. We always have a good in us and always have a bad. Now, the one which is stronger is the one you feed more. You either feed yourself with more negativity, which goes back to the listening to the news, feeling worry and fearful and allowing the technology to take away your creation, or you fueling yourself growing, studying. But going back to what Norman's talking about, self-help, really be present in a moment. It's the key sentence we learn from every single master we study. That's what they actually, most of them say. We actually studied Eckhart Tolle with Norman. He's a huge advocate for be in the now. When he came to London in Royal Albert Hall, which is our favorite, I love that hall. The hall has energy just by no one. Just being and sitting there alone is just energy. And he was talking about this present moment. It was like, whew, because I always kind of thought that consciousness level of growth, present moments mean right now. And this, I'm in the UK, so it's 11:51 on the 2nd of March 2026. That's not the present moment. And you know, this is the thing. Who are you listening to? We were talking about it as well. Who are you listening to? Listen to people who actually been where you are. Because if these new people, we going back to last episode again for a little bit, you have someone who's a teenager who throws stuff in AI, posts it, has 100,000 followers. Are we listening to? No disrespect, but I'm just saying that really the knowledge you're passing on is because you lived life. You went through all the crap. You were on the floor. Not literally, I hope, but some of you were. You know, we all experience these financial problems. Some of us health problems. Some of us love problems. Some of us work problems where maybe you still are stuck in a job you hate. Maybe you're actually not living where you would love to be. You're not doing what you love. And that really ties into today's episode. What do you really, really love? You, not your parents, your partner, your husband and wife, your kids, your best friends, your work employer, employees. What do you love? Do you know what you love? And are you doing what you would love? And that's the biggest stuck question for people we coach. They actually don't know. It's not that we can teach what we went through. This is why I say I am advocate for actually helping you what I got myself out of. So you know, all the shit I actually was in, I had to apply these materials, use them, study them, cried, smiled, and pushed myself through. Well, pushed through. Sometimes aligned myself to it. That's the better way to say it. And it worked. And then I thought it works because I applied it when I knew that actually I don't think I can get out of this. And I did just by applying it. Then you can help others with it. You can't help people with something you've never done and something you ask AI to do or something. It's really individual. Norman, back to you. What do you
It
think?
is, and I totally agree with you. And let's go back to the main question. Why are you reading this text? Why are you listening to our podcast? Why do you watch the podcast on YouTube? And you might say, yeah, to learn something new. Yes, and when do you take time to really apply the stuff? I just thought about while I listened to Vladi about myself. I actually stopped ordering books because I have so many books lined up in my working room that are still yet to come, even though Vladi and I talk about the book. She says, oh, you have to read this. So I order it. Yet I don't start with it right away because I'm still with another book. So this goes on a pile, but the pile gets higher and higher. The clever solution for me is podcasts or audiobooks. But, and I say but on purpose, am I focusing 100% like reading? Because when I read, I do nothing else. I cannot drive a car while reading. I cannot cook a dish while reading. This doesn't work. I focus on the page and on just the page. If I listen to a podcast on Audible, what do? Usually I drive in a car. Usually I cook a dish. Usually I walk around, do the laundry, vacuum the house, do something. I just take the useless time for me to clean the house and put something beautiful in, like to listen to something knowledgeable. Yet, do I really listen to everything? No, because I'm busy, I'm doing something. Oh, I'm paying attention to, now I need to go under the bed with the vacuum. And already those seconds thinking about what I do next and where I need to go and vacuum next and did I load the dishwasher yet, just keep me away from the message itself. It just passes by. And then I think, oh, I need another podcast. I need another book. I need the next information. And it's the same thing why so many people are distracted. They stopped being single tasker and we are all multitasker. And in all those multitasking things, Facebook here and podcast there and talks over here and running from A to B, of course you lose yourself because everything is pulling at you. Facebook wants you to stay on Facebook. Instagram wants you to stay on Instagram. Everybody is pulling or pushing. I think what Vladi said, the stillness is one of the keys. I don't want to say the key, but one of the keys. Be still and think about yourself and just feel thinking about certain things. What do you really love? And if you say, I actually don't know, my thoughts are everywhere, what's the other solution? You try out stuff. But this you cannot do in theory. Go bungee jumping, go bowling, go playing darts, go walking into nature. Without trying it, you will never figure out what you would love. And there's a beautiful quote in English that you know, knowledge is power. And I want to translate it to you in German because this only makes sense in German. It would be Wissen ist Macht. Knowledge is power. Now, Macht is power, but the word without the T at the end, Macht, you take the T away, you have Mach. And Mach would be doing something. And a description of this sentence I heard the other day from another keynote speaker. He said, knowledge is not power. Wissen ist nicht Macht, but knowledge is do. And now in English this makes no sense, but in German it makes sense. He said, Wissen ist nicht Macht, sondern Wissen ist Mach. And basically he said, if you have the knowledge, you need to do it. You need to put it into practice. Otherwise you don't have any power. Just to say, oh, I have read 1 trillion books and listened to 5 billion podcasts. And did you answer the questions? Did you do the tasks that they were given? Did you ask yourself, why am I reading this? And we want to give the question to you. Why are you listening to our podcast? And every answer you could give, like they are entertaining, perfectly okay. If you say, I want to learn something, good. How do you learn? Do you listen to the same thing over again? No, I don't have that much time. Okay, so you rush from one to the next one. And probably you do the same thing in life. I think it was either Bruce Lee or Shaolin monk that said, I'm not worried about the person that trains 10,000 moves one time. I'm very worried about that person that trains the one single move 10,000 times. And Vladi and I spoke about that. Our mentor Bob Proctor used to repeat the same book over and over again. And Vladi can talk a little bit about that in a second. How about this is an idea for you? If you find what you love, would you repeat it over and over and over again because it makes you happy? Or do you think, doing the same thing over and over again is boring? Yeah, it takes work. Same in a relationship or when you're at the workplace or if you have a car or something that you have for a long time. It takes work. Nothing falls from heaven and it's easy. People change, circumstances change, wishes, desires, values, everything changes. The question is, do you still believe in that? Do you still believe in yourself, to come back to our topic? Do you say, yes, there's something that I love, and what Vladi said, don't do it for the neighbors or for your spouses or for the kids. What would you love if it's just you? And most people have no clue, and that's why they are drawn to Facebook, Instagram, Netflix, and all those devices, because it distracts them. Because if somebody else is talking and you see pictures and flashy movies, you're distracted. Your own voices in your mind are very quiet right now because you're focused on Netflix, you're focused on Instagram. But this does not really help you. It just pushes the problem further away, that you have no clue what you really love. Vladi, back to you.
You know, if you really look at your phone and take the amount you spent on scrolling on the phone, watching some rubbish stuff which you don't remember 2 months later anyway. I'm not saying don't watch anything, but watch things that actually fire you up or give you meaning or inspire you. There are movies that you just watch and you're like, oh my God, yes. You know, like my favorite movie out of all times is Facing the Giants. And really go back to what Norman is saying, because Bob Proctor, he was our mentor and he studied Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill for 65 years. Was it 65 years? Or 62 years? It was just, he was in it. It doesn't mean he didn't read other books. But I am the first one to put my hand up. Every book, he was such a great, he was like, okay, you must get this book. You must get this book. If you look, well, you can't see my left-hand side and stuff maybe behind me, you can see a little bit. I'm like, Norman, we would buy all these books, self-help. Self-help is what you apply. So the knowledge is the self-help, because it really is the power to apply the materials you learn. So read other books, but don't rush through it. Read them because you feel. Now, I like having, and I agree with Norman, I thought like, okay, I probably could be very rich if I start selling all the books, because you don't realize over the last 10 years how much money we spend on these books. But I occasionally go and just open the book. I'm drawn to it. And most of the books, I'll be very honest, I would have just certain pages and paragraphs I was drawn to, open and read. I really feel that's the way for me. But what is your way of studying is important. But be focused. Bob read Think and Grow Rich every single day. Every single day. They were masters who created incredible success because they did that one thing for a very long time. Joe Dispenza, we love him as well. He's been really so good that he even took it a step further, and he's now testing it scientifically to prove that this works, which obviously takes much more. It's not just an expertise, it's the trust. People trust more something that has science-based or theology-based. It's remarkable where people also want to do something to expand and put the ripple effect of humanity. But having all these books and knowledge and reading it and not applying it and not testing it, not answering the questions. And be very careful. I know this. Oh, I know this. I've heard this. I know the story. I know. Knowing, doing, gap. I mean, I know many, many people, and I'm sometimes like that, who I know everything, but are you doing it? And that's the key. It's not enough knowing the stuff, because all these people who actually succeeded, Edison, 10,000 times he failed, and when in the interview they asked him about, well, how did you feel in the 10,000 failures? Look, at 10,000 times you failed, he said it was the 10,000 ways of winning. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is an opportunity to grow. It's just our perception. And they teach us this at schools. That failure, oh, you failed. And kids already feel, oh my God, like I'm not good enough at this. It's wrong. It's just the wrong way of teaching it. Failure is not a bad thing. It's giving up, which is the bad thing. It's not about failing it. It's about not doing it. And saying to yourself, well, I don't have what it takes to do it. Says who? Who has the power to tell you that you cannot do anything? So when you're studying, study. And I must agree with Norman. Reading the books is the most powerful way for me. Always was and always will be. Why? I don't know. Energetically, I focus more. And even the book we're reading and the passage Norman actually read to you, the guy is suggesting to us to read it fast. And I was telling him today I'm having a challenge with reading fast because I'm so trained. I trained myself. So reading in a certain way that it's a good habit, but it's programming as well. And I'm finding it challenging to just read through it very fast because I like digging into it. And what does this mean? And going back to something. And if we're studying atoms, I keep going back to the atoms and looking at the energy many times because I want to grasp it in with every next concept and next concept and next concept that he's telling us. That's the key. Stay on something you're doing. What do you need to do? How do you know what you love? Put a timer on your phone for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and just write everything that fires up your soul. And I'm talking food, music, nice girls, nice boys, whatever it is, hiking, luxury holidays, non-luxury holidays. What is it that that actually you see and you're like, ah. And then immediately you follow like, oh, I wish I had more money to do this. Or, but I can never do that because I don't have enough education. Stay with the and write it down. And don't go to anywhere else. It doesn't matter whether you have money, whether you have education, whether you look good enough to have that person. It's your personal story you created. It's the self-image that's running you. But you're the one who created that self-image. You need to upgrade it. But really going back to this, it's just, what do I love doing? And we laugh. We've known each other for a long time with Norman now. We laugh because we just ourselves. And if people don't like what you do, they're not your people. Just let them go. Because we can't have all the people inside. You know who you trust. And really, it takes years to build the trust. This is not going to happen in 2 weeks. And if somebody's telling you, you know immediately. You can know immediately. But so many times we immediately feel really great. And then it doesn't quite work out the way. And it starts having a difference because you only know someone if you went through a life, you're walking your journey with them. From here to there. So you must know where you are. And you always must know where you're going. It's a key of life. If you don't know where you're heading, you're just literally lost in the circles. And that's how you will find out what you're, because you know what you love. You just are foggy because the competition that's out there, the social media and all these posts are making you feel, well, I'm not good enough. I mean, oh my God, look at them. She created 3 programs. Oh my God, look at me here. I sat here 4 months and I was going to bed pretty much every night, like 3 o'clock. I was drained and I was creating the program like that. I didn't ask AI, type it up for me. Because lots of people do, but that doesn't matter. Don't judge them. Stay with you and you knowing that's not my way. I don't want this because I want people to feel a connection. And people really don't know what they want only because they haven't paused enough to sit with themselves and say, what do I really love? Clear your day. What if you're calling sick one day? I mean, okay, maybe I shouldn't say that officially, but what if you did go sick or just take an unpaid day and spend whole day thinking about what are the things that are absolutely firing me up and let everything go. Let the thoughts go away. Have a cup of coffee and do nothing. Stop standing up and putting a dishwasher on and doing a hoovering and all the stuff we always do. Just stay with you and your own thoughts. Norman, back to you.
Had in mind Frank Sinatra and his beautiful song, I Did It My Way. And in one passage of the song, he says, regrets, I had a few. Still, think about Edison, what Vladi just shared. I think that he even said that he had not 10,000 failures. He found 10,000 ways not to invent the light bulb. It's just putting on the blue glasses, seeing the good thing in it. And our current mentor says also something beautiful. He said, we were all born to win, but conditioned to lose. We were all born to win, but conditioned to lose. I was thinking about a beautiful and amazing speed reading course I did, I think, with Jim Quick. I learned a lot. I could read very quick. Funny with his name. And I loved it that I learned how to speed read. What I figured out when I started reading or speed reading books, that I had no freaking idea what I read. I flipped through the pages, through the whole book in a couple minutes. Beautiful, beautiful. But if I cannot remember what I read, and to go even further, what Vladi also said, if I don't stop and smell at the roses, to put it in my words, and to think about it and not load the dishwasher or unload it and say, yeah, it sounds smart. I should do that one day. I should answer this question when I have a piece of paper and a pen. But right now it doesn't work. I go back to it tomorrow. And Vladi and I speak about that frequently. If we have recordings, we always can say, I don't make notes right now. I can go back tomorrow, in a week, in 2 weeks. But is this really the way to do it? How about we, instead of speed reading, do it like Bob Proctor? He sometimes read one page over and over and over and over again. And I remember thinking about it. I thought, first of all, what's so interesting about this one page? Second of all, what's so unclear about this whole page? Especially if you read the same page and the whole book over 60 years, you must be able to record the whole book just out of your memory by now. Why are you reading it? Because first of all, you sometimes don't even understand the words that are written there, and you just go over and say, yeah, I get the meaning of the sentence. There's one word I don't get, but I get the meaning. But the word and where the word comes from and what meaning of the word and what energy and frequency of this word and the whole sentence, you have no idea. You just flip over it. It's like this consuming society we are in. We take something, we throw it away. We take something, we throw it away. It does not work, we throw it away. We don't fix stuff, we throw it away. And we want to have it now and fast and always new, brand new, and so on. We don't take time. Maybe going back to what I read in the beginning, maybe the sentence, why are you reading this? Would be the biggest key that could change everything in your life. Why are you listening to us? Why are you watching us? But you never took time to sit down in the sun, in silence for 10 minutes, for 5 minutes, for 1 minute, for 30 minutes, and said, what's my intention? What's my intention when I read that? Why am I reading that? Because your mind is like Google. Depending on the question you type in, you get the answer. The quality of your life is based on the quality of your thoughts, Tony Robbins says. If you don't have any thoughts and says, yeah, I get surprised about what I read, good. But how about you ask a specific question and say, now I'm starting a new book, now I'm listening to this podcast, and my intention is I want to get a key, I want to get a hint how my life will get better. And if you put this in Google in your mind, then for the whole 30 minutes of our podcast or reading, your mind is always checking like, could this sentence be it? Could this advice be it? But if you did not put any question in, your mind cannot find anything. Don't blame Google, don't blame your mind, don't blame the books, don't blame the authors. Just take a look at yourself and say, could this be the key that I did not ask the, for me, right questions? And what right questions are, we cannot tell you because we don't know what you want to have or achieve. But if you say, I want to be lucky in my life, I want to be joyful in life, I want to be grateful in life, then this would be a good question. How can I use this one page that I'm reading today to be more grateful and joyful and happy and lucky in my life? And you read the page over and over and over again. The more you develop, the more the words develop. And we both had the case where we read a book 3 times in a row. When we were finished, we started again, and the third time again. And in the third round, there were still parts where I thought, where have they been the first 2 times? They were not in this book yet. I've never heard them, have never read them. Yeah, because your mind goes to la la land and thinks about the dishwasher and about nature and about whatever. Stop doing what you do. I know you're a great multitasker, but maybe that's the issue. That's the key, that you lose it, that you lose the simple things, that you lose yourself, what you would love. And this is not let other people entertain you. What would you love to do with your hands, with your feet, with your mind, with whatever? Just think about it. Take on what Vladi shared. Sit down and write down everything that comes, setting the timer. And we know you will find something up if you do it, because knowledge does not mean any power. It just means power if you do it. And I leave it up to Vladi to close today's call.
Do what you love and what makes you feel good. And you will always lead to dreams, and don't let your dreams die inside you. Do not find yourself one day, because we never know how much time we have left, and you find yourself being on a deathbed thinking, I don't regret the things I did and didn't go the way I really wanted, but you will regret the things you never took a chance on and tried. So doing is a really important part of the whole knowledge. And we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.